What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Cheeseboys NFL Podcast. I'm TJ, that's Sam, and as you can see, Sam's rocking the Brett Favre jersey today. I got Dion on, and we're going to be talking some Week 2 reactions, recaps, and Week 3 pick'ems. So it's going to be a jam-packed episode. If you like it, like and subscribe. You can listen on Apple Podcasts. You can listen on Spotify at Cheeseboys NFL Podcast, and yeah, let's get into it. So Sam, what were your thoughts on that Week 2 just schedule that Week 2 of matchups that just went down?
Quickly before I touch on that, I just want to say RIP the GOAT. He's going down. He might have stolen some money. It's pretty bad. I had to wear the jersey one last time before it gets canceled. RIP Favre. The feds.
You know what they
said,
buddy. Dude? You know what they said? What? They said Brett Favre, ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
We got him. Him and like a bunch of other people. It's like 70 million total. It's terrible. He's gonna get charged, but whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty scummy stuff.
Yeah.
But you got to wear the jersey because it's a fire jersey, man. I got to pay my respects.
Yeah. We can talk a little bit more about the Favre situation in the next pod, but I just had to quickly touch on it. Had to wear the jersey before he gets arrested.
So the Week 2 slate. What were your thoughts overall?
Overall, it was crazy week.
Pandemonium.
At least in my opinion, some games that were definitely upsets, surprises, just overall shockers. I think it's just a crazy week. The Jags game, Jets game,
keep going. You can list so many of those games.
I was gonna say, depending on who you thought were gonna win, the Steelers game, the Ravens game. Not that was a big surprise, but that was still a really fun game to watch.
Mm-hmm.
It was a good week.
The
Cowboys coming or winning against the Bengals. No one was really expecting that, I don't think.
Cooper Rush, baby.
Better than Dak. Dak's gonna get the Romo. That's what's gonna happen. Cooper Rush, he's gonna come in. He's gonna go whatever 4-0, and Dak's not gonna play.
We're just gonna pretend that he didn't say that. I don't know if I'm associating myself with this man anymore, but yeah, that is false information. You're spreading lies, but I just gotta say, I don't know if we're trying to compensate here for our pick'ems of the Week 2. If you check our recent videos, you will see a clip of all of our kind of miscues of the Week 2 slate. But I think it was 50-50 matchups that were hard to pick, and also just crazy games, unexpected, I thought it was just a crazy week and a really good week of a lot of close, tight games, a lot of unexpected, upsets like we mentioned with Indy, and yeah, man, just overall a really good week of football. But you want to get into reacting to some of these?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's start.
I'll send you to Thursday night, bro. Let's go. Thursday night. You can start us off with your thoughts on that divisional AFC North matchup. AFC West matchup between the Chargers and the Chiefs. What were your thoughts?
So first off, I just want to say Herbert is a dog, a certified dog.
A lot of dog in that, man.
Yeah, get injured like that. He had the one throwaway where it just looked like any movement he made, he was in pain. And then he could have got the
first down on that one, eh? He could have ran for it, but he was just oh, I can't do it.
Looked like he was wincing all the way back, and then he comes in after that and throws an absolute dot.
Missile, too.
Just a dot of a ball. So, first of all, just Herbert's a dog. Chiefs win, obviously. Good game for the Chiefs. I think defense proved that they're a super solid team and capable of winning some games, or keeping the Chiefs in tight enough games that their offense can do what they need to do. And Patty with another super good game, back-to-back good games, maybe an MVP sleeper. I don't think many people were really expecting the season he's having with the Tyreek loss, but he's really proved that it doesn't really make a difference. And he's Patrick Mahomes. He's going to do what he's going to do.
But kind of just touching on what you said, I think you said it best. Patrick Mahomes just kind of carrying off of Week 1, and just looking at, again, there's 8 or 9 receivers that I'm seeing on this stat sheet that recorded a catch in that game.
Yep.
It just goes to show you that the Tyreek loss has just evolved the offense to where he can throw it to anybody.
Yeah, and I think it's giving Patty a chance to prove that he can do it without him.
Yeah, and it's since he's done that, he's so far. I mean, 2 weeks. We're not like acting like the Tyreek loss will never be felt, but it just feels like so far you haven't seen it yet. And I just flipping over to the Chargers side, like you said, obviously KC, amazing game. They clutched this one out like late. It was a really fun game to watch overall. Like just it was exciting. It was back and forth. It was everything you want a Thursday night primetime game to be between two divisional top level opponents. Like that's the game that we want to watch. But what you said with Justin Herbert, like how he's like wincing and stuff, shades of Matt Stafford, that game where he like dislocates his non-throwing shoulder or broke his collarbone. I can't remember which one it was.
Yep.
And then he goes out there and throws the tutty, and then after he comes over, he's like don't, like, no daps, like don't touch me, because he was like, but it's like just that dog, bro. Like some guys are just built different, which is, it's pretty crazy. Like you never want to see a guy go out if he is injured and keep playing and get himself more injured, but it's just like, because you don't want to gas it up like, oh, and make people seem like if you're hurt and you can't go in, like don't go in, but you have to give him props, because what happened, he went in and he showed a lot of dog for sure. So like you said, Casey, a really good game, but I'm not taking anything away from the Chargers. Defense played well. Casey's offense played well. It's just the Chiefs showed that kind of championship edge that they're kind of have their veteran roster clicking at, and eventually, Chargers will have to learn how to squeak out those games.
Yep.
You want to go to the Panthers Giants, one of our infamous misses from last week's pick'ems.
Yeah. So quickly, just to preface, I don't think we mentioned it. TJ went 7-9 last week, and I went 8-8. So it was a bit of a tough week. This was one we both got wrong.
We both got this one wrong. We both did get KC right, but this one we both took Carolina. And I mean, overall, it wasn't like the most thrilling game to watch. Saquon had a solid game. Like honestly, when you look at the stats, it just seems like Carolina didn't take it, bro. Carolina had a chance and they just didn't take it. So
just an underwhelming game overall. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I had like CMC played a decent game. Danny looked okay, but it was just overall an underwhelming game. Like I don't know
how much of it like you were watching. Me and Sam actually watched the 1 o'clock window together, but we were flipping between red zone. We were flipping in and inside, outside, like watching just different games. But Graham Gano gets the game ball. I think he hit like 4 field goals and a couple were like pretty deep ones. So he won them the game. So Graham Gano game ball. And when it goes to show that the punter won the game ball, that kind of tells you what kind of game it was. It was kind of slow paced, but overall, I mean, the Giants are 2-0 and they're playing good football. Like they're playing sound, disciplined football, which is something that the Giants have not been able to say for a while. So I'm giving them props for that. And we'll see where they can go next week. They got Dallas, and we'll get into the pick'ems. But anything you want to add?
For them. Yeah, no, not really. I think you kind of touched on most of what I had to say. It was just kind of overall an underwhelming game. Obviously, I don't think most people had the Giants coming into the season 2-0, so that's kind of a bit of a shocker. That's fun to see, but I don't think I think it's bound to die off. Maybe they squeak out another against the injured Cowboys here. I mean, no Dak, any team I think could beat the Cowboys, but if Cooper Rush plays the same way he did last week, then I assume Cowboys win the game.
Yeah. So you want to hop over to another L that we took. So me and Sam both had the Steelers in this Steelers-Pittsburgh game. So the Patriots won 17-14. So another squeeze out loss for the boys in the pick'ems. But your thoughts?
I was going to say, I think the biggest difference in this was just probably Mac versus Mitch. I think Mac just overall had a better game. He had a couple nice connections with Aguilar. Overall, I think Mac just probably played a bit of a better game, and that I think that kind of picked them up the win in the end. I think both defenses played pretty solid. Mac did have the one really bad lob pass downfield that got picked off by Minka. Just not a good ball. You just got to know the situation a little bit better, but he's young. He'll grow. He'll get better. I mean, Belly will give him shit for it, but he'll turn it around. But clean up those mistakes a little bit. They're a decent team. Mac's still a good quarterback. I think he's young. He's talented. He'll be a good quarterback for a lot of years. I think Patriots, pulled off a nice win. Jeez, but just kind of, again, an underwhelming game. Both teams had chances to kind of steal the game away and never really took them, but Patriots just played a bit of a better game and kind of deserved to win.
Yeah, they grinded that one out, but like you said, it was a defensive battle, which we could have predicted going into the game. Both offenses are kind of, still have question marks about, who's going to be like, what are the quarterbacks going to do? Who's the top receivers, which maybe Nelson Aguilar took that step. But yeah, overall, I think you covered it. Like, we took the L on this one, but it was a lot tighter than I gave it credit. And no TJ Watt, I think, definitely had an impact in this game. So hold that
underwhelming game for Najee Harris again too.
Yeah,
Najee hasn't had a great start to the season, which I think is going to be a big key factor to the Steelers trying to pull off some of these wins. And if teams are able to shut down Najee, I think they might be able to squeak off tight wins against such a good defense like the Steelers. So yeah, the Patriots showed that.
No, I agree for sure. But I'm gonna bring us now to the Buccaneers Saints game. And I mentioned that you have to hold that. You have to hold that L. You have to hold that L for saying that no TJ Watt doesn't matter, because I think if they had TJ Watt, it would matter. Now that segues me to this point. I absolutely will hold this L that I said the Saints will beat Tom Brady for no reason other than they're the Saints, and the Saints beat Tom Brady. I should have been thinking with my fucking head. I don't know what I was doing there. Yeah, overall, Tom just, it was, I feel like it was something like 10-3 or something like that, like literally like with 13 minutes left in this game.
It might have even still been 3-3. It was tight.
Yeah, it was something like that. And then the Bucs took over in the fourth quarter, and Tom just showed you like, that clutch DNA. And obviously we got to touch on this just real quick, but that
Mike
fight,
Evans.
Mike Evans, the suspension that hurts my fantasy team for next week. But yeah,
I love it. Personally,
I love
Packers
they
fan.
just have beef, eh?
Yeah.
This has happened before. They've had beef. I think Mike Evans also hasn't particularly played too well against the Saints, and obviously division opponent. You see them twice a year. You develop a bit more of a hate for that guy. But yeah, the Bucs showed that clutch fourth quarter DNA, and they got the win again. The Bucs defense looks like it's really good. So we'll see if it can continue. I mean, I believe in both those linebackers. I like their secondary and their D line. With Hicks, so far it's gelled pretty well. So yeah, anything else?
No, I think that's pretty much what I had. Yeah, I think you touched on most of the points I had about that game. There's not really much else to say. I think just kind of, Tom came alive towards the end. I think the Mike Evans Lattimore was really the highlight and the most talked about thing from that game. It was a pretty boring game for kind of 3.5 quarters, or 3 quarters and whatever, 2 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes, and then the Bucs kind of came alive towards the end. But yeah, I think I'm not super shocked. I think the Bucs have a better roster, a better team. They'll win the division, in my opinion. But yeah, I think taking the Saints over the Bucs is always a decent call. So I'm sorry you took the L on that one, buddy.
I mean, that's the difference in me going 7-9 and you going 8-8 in the end. That's the one extra loss that I took. So that one pains me extra. That's why I had to get it off my chest that was a dumb decision by me. So I will regret it. And you already know next time they play, like I'm taking the Bucs, and the Saints will win, because
I'm gonna take the Saints. Just
the gods will punish me, and they'll love on you, of course. Yeah. But so this is one that you and I were actually talking about earlier today, and you brought up some like intriguing points. So this big time upset of the New York Jets, Joe Flacco versus the Browns and Jacoby Brissett. So I kind of want to hear your thoughts again, if you want to tell the podcast.
Garrett Wilson is a guy.
He's a guy.
That's my first thought about that game, is like Garrett Wilson is a guy, and he proved it in this game. I mean, like the game-winning touchdown at the end is huge. Like I think overall he proved that he could come out when potentially fight or win Offensive Rookie of the Year. Like even with Big Joe Flacco, who I know is like, I think he's like 3rd in the league in passing yards right now, of course, just because he would come out and do that. Exactly. Slinging it. But yeah, I think Garrett Wilson came out and he proved he could be that guy. Like he looked
be
good.
That wide receiver that the Jets have not had for so long. Like it's crazy to say that like the Jets best receiver in the last little while was probably Robbie Anderson. And before that was Brandon Marshall at the end of his career.
Yeah.
Like, it's been so long since they've had a true, like, guy at wide receiver. And even those guys, do you even call them guys? Like,
oh, I was going to say, I believe, unless I'm mistaken, I think Brandon Marshall has the most ever receiving yards in a Jets uniform. Like, of any pass catcher ever wearing a Jets uniform, I think he has the most yards as a Jet.
Wow.
So that just goes to show you kind of the receivers they've had even since they were a team. Like, they've never really had guys at receiver, and maybe Garrett Wilson could be that first guy that's like a solidified number one consistently for years for them.
A lifelong Jet at receiver.
Wilson and Wilson.
The duo. But I can't wait to see that again. But also, just touching on the game, just the last second, like the clutch field goal. I don't know if you saw Robert Saleh losing his mind. Also, his locker room speech. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. It's electric. Like, I'm happy for the Jets. I kind of have a little place in my heart for the Jets. They're just such a down bad franchise that I can't take it. And the Browns were absolutely stunned in this one. I don't know if it was like the defense. The defense didn't show up to play. Like,
defense. Like Chubb had a really good game.
If you put up 30 points, man, like you win that game. And also, I don't know if you like saw the whole, it was the defense for one, because they gave up that many points, but also, I don't know if you saw like the Chubb touchdown with a minute 30 left, right? Mm-hmm. The Jets had no timeouts. If he takes a knee on the 1 yard line, they could have kneeled out the game. So that he scores a touchdown. They're up 13 points. They miss the extra point. Jets get the ball, march down the field, Huddy.
Onside kick.
Get it back, Huddy. And they win the game. So I saw Nick Chubb after. He was like, yeah, I probably should have taken a knee on the 1 yard line. And I also saw on Twitter a game, I believe in 2019 or 2018.
Where he did
where Baker told him, go down, and he went down at the 5 or whatever.
Yep, I remember. I was actually just about to bring that up. I was going to say, I remember earlier in Chubb's career, I remember a game where he did go down, and they ended up winning the game.
So I don't know.
It's funny that 2 years later, as an older player, he doesn't do it.
Was that the OC not mentioning it to him? Like, I mean, the guy's in the heat of the moment. If you don't tell him, maybe he doesn't know. But like, you could also argue, like, bro, you got to have situational awareness. Like, if this is the NFL, it's not college. Like, it's not high school. You gotta know the situation just as much as everybody else does. But it is what it is. But yeah, overall, just a stunning game by the Jets, the upset, and I'm happy.
Big Joe.
You want to let me know your thoughts on this Miami-Baltimore game?
That's funny. I was actually just about to say we should go to a game where you picked the right team and I didn't, in Miami, Baltimore. Like Tua, Jalen, Tyreek, crazy trio. That's my main thoughts from the game. I mean, obviously Lamar had a really good game, broke the Michael Vick record. He had, I think it was the first ever quarterback to have a 75-yard passing touchdown and rushing touchdown.
Wow.
Yeah, just like a weird kind of ESPN stat. So yeah, obviously great game for Lamar. Yeah, sorry.
How much money are they going to have to pay him? Like, after you watch a game like that, the guy's just balling out, like,
a lot.
Even in a loss, like, this guy is just electric. He puts up 38 points, and like, he's the only reason you're in the game.
A lot. Like, I don't know the exact number, but I assume that you could make an argument for him to be the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
He's already won an MVP, and like these guys like Deshaun Watson and Kyler Murray, like, they got super bags. Like, how does he not get more?
Yeah, I think you got to give them more. And I think they will. I mean, I think John Harbaugh knows he's their team at this point. Like, their entire offense is built around him at quarterback. If they lost him, they wouldn't know their first step. So I think, I think a bag is coming Lamar's way, and he deserves it. But maybe another guy who's working himself towards a bag, Tua Tagovailoa.
I was just going to touch on it. Just the 6 touchdowns and just almost like, what was it, 450 something yards? Like, the guy was absolutely slinging it.
Well, not that 2 touchdowns for each Jalen and Tyreek, 190 for Tyreek, 171 for Jalen, 8 catches apiece.
Oh my God. And that was the next point that I was going to make, though, is I remember hearing all this stuff all the time about this Ravens secondary. They're really good.
Well, I mean, Marcus Williams at the end of the game went down. I'm not sure if you saw that. So that hopefully he's okay. That could be a big loss. 2 picks in this game, but yeah, they look good.
Bro, the Ravens secondary is good, but it doesn't matter. Speed kills.
Tua lit them up still.
Speed kills, man. Yeah. Waddle and Tyreek, speed kills. Yep. They put on a show, and they stunned the Ravens. And Mike McDaniels, I told you, ride. We ride with McDaniels, bro. We ride. I'm ready for the McDaniels hype train, and I'm all the way on it, bro.
Yeah. No, I think it was Dolphins proved they're a really good team this week, and I think it was a really good comeback win too. I can't remember the exact score. I'm not sure if you know it. I think I might have it written down somewhere. Maybe not though.
42-38 in the Dolphins game.
Yeah, but it was 28-3, I believe.
Oh.
Or no, sorry, they outscored the Ravens 28-3 in the fourth quarter. That's what it was. Yeah, that's the stat that I was thinking. I knew it was 28-3. So it basically they outscored them. So what a comeback! Like I think just Tua, Tyreek, Jalen all proved that together they are going to be a crazy offensive trio.
No, it's just wow. I'm a very happy man to have Jalen Waddle on my fantasy team and to have had started him this week. I had faith, and
it's a good pick.
He proved me right.
Yeah.
So my absolute favorite misplay of the week, Sam and TJ select the Indianapolis Colts and Frank Reich and this shambolic team to beat the Jaguars.
Honestly, so here's my thing, right? Is you can chalk the first week up as, for Colts at least, as whatever, a misweek, a misstep. It's week 1. Okay. Then this week, the curse in Jacksonville, they always seem whatever it is now, 6, 7 years, 5 years, something like that. They go into Jacksonville and they lose. Okay. So then you give yourself a bit of an excuse for 0-2. So if I'm them, I'm panicking going into 0-3 or like going into week 3, thinking about potentially starting off 0-3 and being a team that going into the season, people thought might be fighting for like AFC, like coming out of the AFC.
At least at least everybody had them winning the division. Like maybe the odd Titans person, but for the most part, the Colts were winning that division.
Are they just shit? Like, is that what this is? Like, is this just like an 0-2 start, like whatever, a weird, they're just a slow start, or because they've looked bad. Like, it's not like it's like, first week, tight week, but they played like shit. This week they could be 20. Like, it's just like,
hey, bro, just to touch on your point of like how it just like it feels like they just played like shit, bro. They're 0-1-1. But that tie feels like such a loss to you that you just called them 0-2. And I agree, bro.
Oh my God, you're right.
It's like 0-2.
Yeah.
But it feels like 0-2.
Yeah, it does.
It's just what's going on there. That situation is shambolic. I honestly want to touch on that maybe more tomorrow on our podcast. Yeah. Tomorrow we're going to do a more news notes, just kind of variety mixed bag podcast about the NFL, just everything that's going on. But
Trey Lance talk. Everything.
What a game, 24-0 the Jaguars win. And just all I can say is just the Colts are in shambles and the Jags, hey, Doug Peterson had them gassed up for that game.
Yep.
The defense played phenomenal. They got a shutout. Like you can't say anything bad about the defense.
4 or 5 sacks, I think.
And then there you go for the Jags. T-Law is playing well this year so far, 2 weeks in.
Yeah.
And we'll see if he can keep it up. I hope he can.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Quickly, just kind of quick thoughts. I mean, I don't know how much you got to say on this one, but MCDC and the Detroit Lions versus Riverboat Ron and the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, I mean, so quickly, the only points I really have on the Commanders is Dotson, another touchdown, 3 touchdowns first 2 games, another rookie off to a really good start. I think kind of Wilson, Dotson, and London have kind of been the 3 standout receivers so far. So good for him. Another decent game for him. Wentz played okay.
I mean, I'll just quickly touch on it. The Lions, the defense, it gave up 27 points, but I mean, overall, excuse me. Aiden Hutchinson played spectacular, bro.
Yeah.
He played spectacular. He looked like the real deal. Amon-Ra St. Brown is the real deal. And like we said, bro, Jared Goff is going to be more consistent. We said Jared Goff would be more consistent than Wentz. And to be honest, 4 tutties, we were not saying that. But what a game from him. And then it was 3 tutties and a pick for Wentz. So he still played well, but it's that like that key mistake and 5 sacks, the safety. It's all of that rolled into just like, it's the Bitcoin, man. He's Bitcoin. He fucking he just does it, bro. I don't know. He goes all the way up and then all the way down. But yeah, that's all I really feel like I have to say on that one.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. MCDC's got the Lions looking good, man. That's really the only other thing I'd say.
Yep. So Falcons Rams, another one where I feel like the Rams dominated this game. I don't really know how much we have to touch on it, but you look at the score and it's 27-31 final.
Yeah.
But I was like, I actually bet the spread for the Falcons, and I believe it was 8. And I think they scored 14 points, if I'm not mistaken, pretty late in that game. I can actually quickly double check that, but I'm pretty sure 17 points in the fourth quarter. I was going to say,
I knew they had a bit of a comeback in the fourth.
17th points in the fourth quarter, but it really didn't feel like the game ever got out of hand. It was just some late scores. I will say on the Falcon side, Drake London, that guy. And on the Rams side, it felt like the Rams kind of let out some pumped up aggression from losing Thursday night so bad. The offense played really well. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw the Ramsey get back, but he got a pick and he was pretty excited about that.
I was going to say
week 1.
The only other thing I'd really add about that game is even if you are the Rams winning that game, I agree. They really they controlled the game for most of the time. I don't think you're happy with that game against the Falcons with a minute 30 left. Jalen Ramsey has to secure the game with an interception.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Falcons have a chance to potentially steal that game away from you. And they don't deserve to. Like you deserve to. So it's just, I think still some things to clean up in LA. Still just kind of waiting on their new pieces to kind of pick it up a little bit. Another really slow game for Allen Robinson. I think he only had 1 catch, if I'm not mistaken. I don't want to throw shots at if I'm wrong, but I think it was 1 catch. Cup had a big game, but yeah, just I think they just need to work some things out and they'll be back on track again, I think, shortly.
Yeah. So another game we got wrong here, 27-7. The 49ers beat up the Seahawks. So I don't know. I'll just quickly say it, like T's and P's, thoughts and prayers for Trey Lance. And this is going to sound like bad, but I don't mean any ill will. Like I was excited for Trey Lance and all, like I wanted him to succeed, but the offense looked so much better with Jimmy G. They reverted back to the old offense. It kind of felt like, and everything was clicking. They showed that their roster is just superior to the Seahawks roster. And that's all I'm really going to say on it. I mean,
yeah, I was going to say the only thing I really had written down about this game is Jimmy G looked good. I think obviously, I'm with you, T's and P's to Trey. I think obviously you never want to see that, especially second game, like first ever season starting. Like it sucks. And I'm sure he'll be back and hungry next year. But yeah, I think Jimmy G looked good and he showed why they re-signed him in the offseason and that he's going to come in and he'll be able to win them some games this season. And maybe they'll still be a wild card, or maybe with the way LA's look, they'll be fighting for a division. So yeah, I think they'll be just all right with Jimmy. I think he looked good.
Yeah. Best insurance policy in the NFL.
Yeah.
You got that Jimmy G. G stands for Geico, my boy. It's the best insurance policy in the league. You like that one? I knew you would. So transition, if you will, to a game that I feel like you're gonna have some feelings about.
Okay.
I'm going Texans Broncos. So it was a 16-9 win for Russell and Hackett. How do you feel?
Yeah, I mean, not good still if you're like not good at all. I'm not sure if you saw there's a picture. Russ is standing on like the 10-yard line. They're driving down the field and Williams is wide open in the end zone, like right in front of him, like right in front of him, and he's just looking elsewhere. And he doesn't hit him obviously. Um, and it's just it hurts. Like it hurts to look at that picture and think Russell Wilson is this big signing quarterback, and this is what we're seeing so far. Like it's just not that 1-1 is a terrible start, and obviously there could be some growing pains. He's new to the team, but it's just you can't be thrilled as a Broncos fan with what you've seen so far. And I think they need to step it up and quickly. I mean, Hackett, the former Green Bay OC, like he's got to get it going, man. And I think he has the potential to, but him and Russ got to learn how to really work together here.
The pressure is turned all the way up, and yeah, it's just like you said, man, it wasn't an impressive win, and that's why people are upset, because it really wasn't an impressive win against a team that you should outclass on paper, but something's not clicking on offense. Their defense is playing really good football. I think they have like 26 points allowed across 2 games or something like that.
Somewhere right around there.
It's something like that. So they're playing well. It's not their fault. And like you said, they won the game, but it still feels like the pressure is all the way on. And for the Texans, it's like, hey, you were in it the whole game. Like it's pretty solid game overall. Like they one-score game. You got to just they're all moral victories for the Texans here when they just look good and they're not that bottom feeder team. Dougie Mills played all right. I mean, it's a good Broncos defense as well, but yeah, overall, just Hackett and Russ got the pressure turned all the way up.
Yeah.
I'll take us to. Let me sit up for those watching on YouTube. I'm sitting up. Somewhere near and dear in my heart, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I know nobody from the Cowboys is listening or was listening, and I pray they weren't listening to when I said that they would get murdered at 425. I failed to take into account that Cooper Rush is indeed that guy. And that needs to factor into my future picks. But yeah, the Dallas Cowboys win 20-17 against the Bengals in an absolute shocker. I think I saw the panel of like the teams that they were all the analysts they were picking. It was a clean sweep.
Slate, yeah.
We rattled Joey B.
Yeah.
First off, their O-line needs something still. It's like, how do you add 4 new guys like Kappa, Ted Karras is their center, Lelio Collins, and I believe one other guy. I'm sorry, I'm forgetting. I saw it on the broadcast, but I'm drawing a blank. And then Micah Parsons says, okay, just whoever's on me, I'm going to cook 2 sacks. And then all game, it was just like, all right, well, now we got to double team them. And Dorrance Armstrong gets 2 sacks. There's another, I believe, 2 sacks. They give up 6 in the game. Joe was throwing early because he had pressure in his face. Yeah. And that was really the difference on what slowed down the Bengals offense. And on the Cowboys side of the offense, it was just Cooper Rush just taking what he could get, clutch 3rd downs, clutch 4th downs, and Noah Brown stepped up for the receivers, just creating separation, and the running backs, they put their heads down and went to work, and the O-line proved that, hey, week 1 might have just been we have a bunch of young guys and they're all new. They got to cohesively fit
against
together.
A good team. The Bucs are a good team.
And to allow 1 touchdown to Tom Brady and 1 touchdown to Joe Burrow. Yeah. How many defenses are doing that? So that's kind of my thoughts, near and dear. Go Cowboys. And 20-17 win. We're 1-1. We're moving into this Giants game feeling a lot more confident that, like, I'm not going into this game saying we're going to get murdered like I was. I mean, that was so disrespectful of me. But yeah, I'm all positive vibes over here, man. I'm feeling good, and I don't know if we're going to win the game, but I'm just saying it gives me more of a purpose in life to watch these games, when I believe that if everything goes right, and that's the key, like everything still has to go right, but Cooper Rush can win you a game, and he can win you multiple games, hopefully. So yeah, that's my deep dive. I'm going to go into it more later on different podcasts and other stuff, or different episodes of this podcast. But yeah, if you want to say any quick thoughts, just go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to start this off by first saying to all you Cowboys fans, about a week ago, maybe just over, I was in TJ's phone texting him, hitting him up, and he was telling me season's over, we're screwed, we're fucking done.
I think I have it on video, I believe, bro, on the TDCR. I believe I said, so the season's over. I think I started like not too long into the video with that.
And I will have you know, the entire time I was texting him, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be able to steal some games, even if you can't. It will probably only be whatever 4 to 6 weeks. It's early in the season. You're gonna be okay. And TJ was telling me, nope, the season's fucking over.
It's over. It's done.
Finished. I said, no, sir. Cooper Rush has some dog in him, and we saw it this past Sunday against the Bengals. So I think, in my opinion, I think you touched on everything you need to say. I think the Cowboys proved that even with Cooper Rush, without Dak, they're gonna be able to come out here. They're gonna be able to steal some games, hopefully. And they did it against Joey B. I mean, 2 touchdowns in 2 games against 2 arguably top 10, whatever quarterbacks. Dallas's defense has proved they're the real deal. Like, they're here to fight for some games, and they're going to do it. And I think Cooper Rush is good enough to help them out.
2 weeks in against 2 good offenses, the Cowboys defense said, all we need you to do is score 20.
Yeah.
If you scored 20 in week 1, you would have won 20-19. You scored 20 in this game, you won 20-17. I don't know if the defense can keep that pace up, but they definitely look like they're playing at a high enough level right now where they are going to give Cooper Rush every chance to win the game. It's just on him to not make the mistakes, to make the right reads, and for the receivers and the other players to just step up around him, because we all got to pull the weight when Dak's out.
Yeah.
So now, probably, arguably the craziest game. This Cardinals Raiders game. Take it away, Sam.
Well, first,
first give us the score. Sorry.
The score was 26-20, I believe. Is that
I believe
correct?
It was 29-23, actually. Yep. In overtime. Okay.
Sorry, my bad. I knew it was right around there. Yeah, I knew this.
You're good, bro.
It was a 6-point win. The OT TD won it. First of all, I just want to say, really, though, 2 plays by Kyler. I mean, the throw and the 22-second 2-point conversion run, the longest 2-point conversion of all time, I believe. I'm pretty sure that was the statistic they showed. Literally playing Madden. I think it was only it was a 3-man rush, whatever. Their O-line did a great job of holding up. But he's just running around out there. Like, he's doing whatever he wants. He's pointing around. He's this side of the field, that side of the field, running 20 yards back, running into the corner of the end zone, taking his team to overtime, winning the game in overtime. He's playing Madden. He's playing Madden against the Raiders. It's real life Madden. So yeah, I think you gotta love what you see out of Kyler. He showed some real dog, won that game, and yeah, I mean, that would be my biggest point. Raiders didn't look great. I mean, looked good, but didn't look great. I thought they could have came out and had a big kind of prove 'em game against a team that their divisional opponent, the Chiefs, kind of dogged up in the first week. So I think as a Raiders fan, you can't feel great about that loss, but obviously it's a tight game, OT, still early in the season. They got some things to put together. Josh Jacobs, I think, has got to get a little more going here, and I think that could help them out a lot. But I think the Raiders are still a good team going into the season, or going into the rest of the season.
Yeah, it's tough for the Raiders to be 0-2 in that division, and this one was shambolic, though, man. They were up 20-3, I believe, at halftime. And yeah, they blew this game. You really should have had the win. Devontae just was he's on the side of a milk carton because he was missing. Like, I don't know where this guy is, man. Like, he had the insane week 1, but when your team needs you here, man, that's also
Two
Carr.
catches.
It's
I
on
think two
Carr too.
catches.
It's on Carr too. He has to get him the ball, but it's just like I can't believe that they just their offense just shut down. And yeah, so that's what I have to say about that. I honestly didn't feel like I felt like the Raiders defense played well in the first half, but the second half, again, just a shambolic performance. And I kind of thought to myself, this is just a random note, but that 22-second 2-point conversion, Bill Belichick defense is not doing that. So I don't know what Josh McDaniels is trying to cook up over there. Like, I know it's obviously not his fault, but that was just like, I don't understand how nobody gets him down or how he's running around for that long and then he still scrambles in.
Yeah.
Like, how does nobody think like, oh, he could be running here? Like, I'd have to see like the all 22 to really see what everybody was doing on the play, but
yeah,
it was crazy. And just a last note, we all heard the Kyler contract, like the clause where he can't play video games, blah, 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 right? Like we all heard it.
Of course. How could you not?
If you saw that 2-point conversion and you play any video games, mostly Call of Duty, there's a game mode called Zombies where you try to survive waves of zombies with your friends. Kyler Murray was training defenders. He was literally training the defenders, running around and having them follow him. He would lead them into blocks and then he just walked in. This guy needs to play more Call of Duty because I need to see more of that shit on Sunday.
That's a great take, TJ. You should talk to Cliff. I'm sure Kingsbury would love that.
Oh, if I told Kyler that take, he'd be like, this guy.
Okay, I'll take it to coach.
This guy gets it. And then you want to be my special advisor on my next contract? Got you, my boy.
I got you, my boy.
Near and dear. That's what I like to call this segment here. Maybe I'll call it that every week, but near and dear to Sammy's heart.
Okay, so I'm gonna take this one away. Big Packers W. First of all, that's all I want to say. Offense looked so much better. A couple big touchdowns by Aaron Jones. Very similar plays on both TDs. I really like the first one, the quick little pitch out, technically a rush. But whatever, pitch, rush, same thing. Aaron Jones, some work. Second one got me even more hype. AJ Dillon, lead block, running him into the end zone. You got Aaron Rodgers pointing over to Matt LaFleur, giving him a nice little good call, buddy.
Good call, buddy. So, and that you drafted a freak.
Exactly. So, I mean, I think just overall, like, you got to be so much happier with this game. I think our defense still showed they have some holes and some things that they need to kind of clean up, especially on the rushing side. It's hard to really get a big read on the passing defense when your opponent only throws 11 times and they complete 7 of them. So yeah, you go 7 completions. I think, like, that's good, but when they only throw 11 times, you're not really seeing much. David Montgomery lit us up, especially on some big drives late in the game, which, whatever, you got a big lead. I get it. Kind of the boys slow down. They don't really want to hit as hard. They don't want to get hurt. I get it, but still kind of, you gotta close those games out. So you still don't want a guy lighting you up for, I think, 160 yards, somewhere around there, 150 yards. So got to clean up some things there, but yeah, overall, much better game for the team as a whole. I think the defense cleaned up some things. I think the offense cleaned up a whole lot of things. Not as many kind of little mental mistakes. Looks like guys were actually running the right routes. So that was big to see. Sammy Watkins had a couple big catches, especially the deep one. Yeah, that was huge. I think we got to see more of that. I want to see a bit more out of Christian Watson. It looked like they were trying to get him involved. A couple screens. He had 3 catches for 9 yards. So I think he had our second most catches on our team, but only could convert it to 9 yards. So we're trying to get him the ball, but it's not really working yet. So I think we just got to learn how to use him a little bit more. Dubs, whatever. Come on, give me a break. I tried. Dobbs. Thank you, TJ. My resident Packers fan over there.
Closet.
But yeah, he was 2 catches, I believe. So a bit of a slower game again for him, but that's all right. It's going to take a couple weeks for these guys to get going. I really just like seeing 28 and 33 light it up a bit more. That's huge. I think you could just see the pace of play in our offensive line, having even Jenkins back in there, even without Bat, just they just looked so much more confident. Guys were getting better holes. They were quicker. Seemed like everyone was having a bit more fun just having them back out there. You just make such a big impact even being back out there play to play. So I think that was huge for the team. And I think getting Pat back in is going to be even bigger once he can finally kind of get going on that ankle. He was limping a bit in practice this past week before the Bears game. So it's not great to figure it out and get back in. And even if it's a couple more weeks, I just want to see him healthy and ready to go for like kind of end of the season playoff time. So yeah, I think Packers proved that, they're still a really good team. I think we got a really big game coming up this week against the Bucs, even without Mike Evans and Godwin. I think they're still a really good team, really good defense. So we're going to have something to prove this week. And I think hopefully we can go ahead and do it. But it was a really good stepping stone this week with the Bears after that tough Vikings loss in week 1.
So I'm just gonna touch on a couple, just give you the headlines of the game that you didn't touch on. I'm just gonna bring up things that you didn't touch on, maybe some things that you did. So O-line improved, Jenkins stud. Allen Lazard, the connection is there. Like you saw it on that touchdown.
Oh yeah.
So that's big. And then just quickly on the run defense. The run defense was, yes, they gave up a bunch of yards, but you also got to think at the end of the game, Packers mindset, right? I'm the defensive coordinator. I'm telling everybody, nothing deep. Don't let them beat us deep.
Yeah.
So, they want to bleed out the clock for us by running the ball.
You're not wrong.
So yes, they do. You'd still like to see them, get 1 yard gains, 2 yard gains, but David Montgomery is a good running back. And if the other team's committing to, we're going to throw the ball 11 times and we're just going to smash it at the end of this game here when we're down 17 points, it's like, cool, good for you.
What are you going to do? Yeah, no, I'm with you. You're not wrong. That's a great point to bring up. I think, you can't really complain after that game. A 27-10 win is always going to make you happy.
I think they do got to clean up a little bit on the rush defense, but I just feel like that it's a little like inflated in a sense.
Of course. I was going to say the other quick stat that I wanted to bring up, quick shout out, Aaron Rodgers Tuesdays on Pat McAfee. I heard him say a stat. I think he said we only had 7, 9, somewhere around there, third downs on 69 total offensive plays. So that's just like the ball movement on first and second down. Like that's vintage Packers football. Like that's what Aaron Rodgers does. And that's what we need to keep doing this offseason or this throughout this season if we're going to win some games. So I love to see it. That's a great stat that I love for the Packers.
I actually haven't seen the interview yet, so I really thought you were going to say we only had 7 or 9 players on offense using Percocets and or only 7 to 9 major trips on ayahuasca from the rookies in the dressing room. So, yeah, but I'm great stat. So moving on to Monday Night Football.
Let's move on. Yeah,
the Buffalo Bills absolutely destroyed the Titans.
Yep.
I'll give you the breakdown. The Bills defense looks maybe like the best in the league. They are super deep at almost every position, and they have injuries right now, which is just unfathomable. Von Miller, what a stud, what a leader. And just, we already know like Poyer and Hyde. We already know Tre'Davious White. They drafted a corner, I believe, in the 6th round and a corner in the 1st round. And the 6th rounder doesn't leave the field. And the 1st rounder like comes in and he's good too. So it's just like, of course they did. And the Bills defense, spectacular. Bills offense, they pulled Allen in like, I believe like it was pretty like late-ish into the 3rd quarter or something like that when they went up 41. And so it's like, so then Malik Willis is the only thing that I want to talk. Titans defense, what happened to you? I don't know. I don't even know, like, I don't know where to even start with the Titans, but so I'm just going to go Malik Willis. I mean, it was tough for him because he was just under so much pressure, like the whole game. But I will say there were a couple times where he did scramble, make a throw, or even just throw it away that Ryan Tannehill's not getting out of the pocket and throwing that away. So that's a sack that he's turning into not sacks. And he's also picking up first down with his legs. But yeah, Tannehill, I don't know if they're going to start Tannehill next week. I don't know. The Tannehill experience might be done. And I liked what I saw from Willis, but I mean, it was very, very little that you can really take away when he's playing such a dominant defense as his first game where he didn't prep with the ones all week. Like, it's like, you can't judge that guy on that performance. So
his first real life snaps. Yeah, no, I'm with you. It was nice to see him get out there. It's always fun to see whatever rookie quarterbacks kind of get out there for a little bit and, get to throw the ball and take some real life snaps and run some real life huddles. So, fun to see him out there. But yeah, overall, just kind of
41 to 7.
Yeah, it's just that absolute Bills look real good.
Potentially the
good.
best team in the NFL.
I think they've proved it in back-to-back weeks, honestly.
2 weeks.
I think at
you're
this point,
way too early. Best team in the NFL.
But not even, I wouldn't even say best team in the NFL. I'm more saying I think right now they are the team to beat. Like, I think if you're looking at the NFL, they're the team that if you beat them, you are automatically feeling good about yourselves.
Well, what about the Philadelphia Eagles? As much as it pains me to say, as we transition, they won 24-7.
I think that's more primetime Kirk just being shit.
You do?
Yeah, well, of course, it's primetime Kirk. How could you no, okay, sorry. No. The Eagles, don't get me wrong, but I also think it's primetime Kirk being shit.
That game would have been so much closer. Like, I don't know how much of it you caught, but I was actually watching with our friend Adam, and like there was points of that game where he was just throwing horrible,
3 picks, right? Three, yeah.
But I'm saying horrible throws where it's like you're watching the replay and you're like, what window was he even thinking was there? 2 of them to Slay, that was just like, oh yeah, let's just gift Slay 2 picks here. But I'm a Cowboys fan. I really don't like the Eagles, and I will let it be known. Eagles fans comment, talk shit, tell me that I'm stupid, I'm dumb, I'm a Cowboys fan, what have I won, blah blah blah. I don't care. But I'm giving you guys credit because their defense, obviously, I do think it was a little bit of Kirk being a goofball, but it was also their defense looked really good. Their D line is loaded up. Their offense it's unique and it's hard to stop. It's hard to stop. Like, Jalen Hurts just adds a dynamic where it's a little bit similar to what the Ravens do, but the Ravens, Lamar can kind of sling it a little more. So it's kind of different. They have a lot of triple options in the Philly offense. At least I'm not going to say that I know. I'm just saying what I saw. I saw some triple options, and it seemed like they like to call just kind of those pitch plays, even if it's not triple option, if it's a read option pitch type thing. They have a lot of just really intricate running stuff that it works for them. And overall 24-7, they made the Vikings go from week 1 where they were looking like, oh my God, they steamrolled the Packers. Maybe they're the real deal, to, all right, so we still don't know what the Vikings are, just all of last season where they would do this, where they'd win some big games and lose some bad games. It's just so.
I mean, maybe it is just primetime Kirk. Maybe they'll come back next week and prove they can win a 1:00 game. I don't know when they play. Hopefully no time where it's going to be a big window, because then, Kirk's going to have a shit game. But yeah, I think you touched on most of the points. I think Eagles defense really just they looked a lot better than they did week 1 against the Lions. I think the Vikings proved that we don't know what they are. They could be hits, they could be misses. Maybe this was the week that maybe the Eagles game was the one-off game. Maybe the Packers game was the one-off game. We really don't know. It could go either way. It's hard to tell. So I think it could be a lot of hit and miss games.
That goes without being said for all these games. It's really it's week 2. We don't know the full scope of these teams because we haven't seen a big enough sample size. But it's interesting to just kind of over exaggerate on this Wednesday and let people know our thoughts on these matchups. So, all right, Sam, so you're ready to move on to our week 3 pick'ems. Hopefully we do better than last week. I was 7-9, and I believe you were 8-8. So you ready to move on and do some more week 3 pick'ems?
Yeah, if we don't do better, we might have to stop. So I think we're gonna need to pick it up this week.
All right, so I'm gonna start us off. I'm gonna queue up which game we're gonna do. You give me your thoughts on the winner. Give me your blurb, and then I will say my winner and my thoughts, and then we'll move on to the next one. And we're just gonna kind of try and give you this to you in quick hit style. Yeah. And all right, Sam.
Feed me games, brother. Let's go. Feed me the game.
Thursday night, bro. It's Steelers versus the Browns. Who do you got?
This one's in Cleveland, correct?
I believe so.
I'm gonna take the Steelers.
Ooh,
Yeah, the Steelers
like
the Steelers gave me no reason to pick them last week, and I think the Browns defense is going to step up, play a better game in their own home, and yeah, I think Browns pull this game out. I could see another good game for Chubb without TJ. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Browns in this one. What do you think?
Yep, I'm taking the Browns as well, man. I just
Yeah.
think that Chubb's gonna have another good game. The Steelers' path to victory is, no TJ Watt, but you still have to get that pass rush going and
Yep.
that run defense, and as well as your offense has to start clicking in terms of Najee, and we'll see. They got a lot of wide receiver talent. We'll see if Mitch can hit them. So
Yep.
I think Cleveland just has shown me more consistency so far.
I'm with you.
Moving on to the 1:00 window on Sunday, Detroit, Minnesota. In Minnesota, it is a divisional game.
I'm gonna take the Lions.
Whoa.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Lions. I'm gonna stick with my gut. I'm gonna take the Lions. I think MCDC is gonna come into the Minnesota. I think they're gonna steal this game away. I think I wouldn't be surprised if this is a high scoring game. I think they could put up some rushing yards. The Lions, even on that tough Minnesota D line, I think they've proved that they can come out and put up some points, even on some decent defenses. So yeah, I like the Lions in this one. Vikings are coming off a tough loss, and I think they're a hit or miss team, and I could see them missing this week, and the Lions pulling off a good divisional win.
Yep, I like everything you said about the Lions, but I'm going with the Vikings.
Yeah.
I hope that they just have a bounce back week, and just we didn't really mention it, but Justin Jefferson just had a really down game as well, and maybe that was primetime Kirk just not getting the ball. Also, Adam Thielen barely got targeted. I was watching that game; it was so super strange, but I feel like the offense is going to bounce back, and they just have more dynamic playmakers on their team, and I just feel like they're going to pull out the divisional win. They're at home. It's a tough place to play. So
yeah, I'm with you.
All right, moving on. Baltimore, New England. In New England,
I think this one's a pretty easy one for me. I'm going Baltimore still. I think Ravens have proved in 2 back-to-back weeks they're capable of putting up some really high-scoring games, and I think the Patriots have proved that they're not ready to put up some high-scoring games yet with Mac in that offense, especially against a decent defense. I think Mac will play another decent game, whatever, but I think Lamar is ready to take apart even that belly defense. I don't think they're going to be able to stop him. I think there's just too much offensive power with Lamar, and he's really showed that Bateman, Duvernay, Andrews is enough for him to work with.
The Ravens secondary is really strong. I feel like Mac might not fare as well as Tua without having Tyreek and Waddle at his side. And like you said, the offense hasn't proven that it can put up points in bunches, and Lamar himself can put up points in bunches.
Exactly.
So I'm taking the Ravens. That's pretty easy one. Another divisional game here. So Carolina's at home versus the Saints.
Yep. I'm gonna go Carolina. I think Carolina hasn't had kind of that pop-off game with this offense yet, and I think this could be kind of the divisional game at home where they come out and they finally show it. I think this take could very easily miss. I think the Saints could just as easily come into Carolina and steal away this game with some tough defense and decent running and a decent game by Jameis. But yeah, I like Carolina. I think Carolina is bound to eventually show that Baker, CMC, DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson kind of capability, and I think this could be the game they do it against the Saints in a tough divisional game.
So I'm actually going with the Saints here. I'm going with the Saints because the Saints, in the same way that the Cowboys lost to the Bucs and it didn't look all that impressive, I think the Bucs are just a really good team. Mm-hmm. So the Giants are not on the level of the Bucs, and I feel like you only put up 16 points, that being Carolina, against the Giants. Then I don't know. I agree with you that the offense is off and it's due for a pop-off game, but I feel like the Saints have a good defense, a good secondary. So I just don't see it happening. I'm taking the Saints on the road dogs.
Yep.
Moving on, Texans Bears, a kind of 50-50 game. It's in Chicago.
I'm gonna take the Texans. I think David Montgomery might be able to run all over them, and that would kind of be the Bears' best chance of winning this. But I believe in the Texans. I think they're a better roster overall. Personally, at this point, I might take their quarterback. Like I like Brandon Cooks. So yeah, I'm gonna go Houston. I think they're gonna come into Chicago, and I think they're gonna kind of take this game away. I think they've looked good enough in their first kind of 2 games, to be able to kind of get a 1-1-1 record to start off.
I agree. I'm fully on board with you. Davis Dougie Mills is my guy. I rock with Davis, and I think they've played well. Like I said, I mentioned it in our week 2 reactions that they played well against the Broncos. I know they only put up 9 points, but they felt close in that game the whole time. And I feel like they're going to squeeze out this win. It just feels like everything's been kind of like adding up, and the Bears are kind of, I feel like they're going to start to get shown how much deficiencies they have at certain points in their roster, and the Texans are going to come out with a win, but I don't think it's going to be handed. I think it'll be a good win for the Texans.
I'm with you. I think it'll be a decent game, but I think it actually could be a sleeper game at the 1:00 time, but I still think the Texans will win.
All right, I'm gonna say this, Sam. You're gonna agree with me, and we're gonna move on just to speed this up. All right,
I'm ready.
Patrick Mahomes, Kansas City, that offense versus Matt Ryan and the Colts. That question mark of an offense. KC's gonna win this game. Yeah. We don't really need to talk about it much more.
No,
let's go.
Yeah.
The Philadelphia Eagles, Washington Commanders. It is Wentz's return game. It's in Washington, though. However,
I would say this game's more of a lock than the KC Colts game.
Yeah, honestly,
I think Eagles go into Washington, and they walk all over the Commanders.
What that defense did to Kirk, I can only imagine what they're going to do to Wentz.
Yeah.
And that offense is hard to stop. Nobody's done it yet this season, and even for times last season, I mean, there were stretches where it was pretty dominant as well. So, yep, I'm going the Eagles. I'm just riding that wave for sure.
Yep.
Buffalo, Miami, a really good game in Miami.
Yeah, I think honestly, this could, even with the Rams game week 1, I think this could very well be Buffalo's biggest test of the season so far. And I think they're going to come out and they're going to win. Either way, I think Miami is a really good team. I hope that they can kind of show that they can fight against a team like Buffalo. But even in Miami, I think Bills are the best team in the league, and I think they're going to come in for a 3rd straight week and kind of show why they are considered to be the best team in the league. Yeah, I don't really feel like there's much to touch on. Josh Allen is that dude, man. He's going to come into Miami, and I think he's going to win the Bills another game. Vaughn, like, there's just so many studs on the team. Like Diggs.
Yeah, we touched on
whatever.
Like
yeah, I don't need to
loaded.
Continue. Yeah, so I got Bills going into Miami and winning that game.
Give me the Bills as well, but yeah. I do like the point that you said that, like, week 1, they did defeat the champs, but I don't know. The Rams seemed off. I feel like this is going to be their toughest test because Tyreek, Waddle, Tua, they're clicking. Like, the triplets there are clicking. Yeah. So, yep, I got the Bills too, but I think it's going to be a closer game than we've seen the Bills play this year. They're not blowing this team out. Maybe they win by like 10 points or something like that, but I still feel
20,
like
even maybe,
but if they win by 20, then it's chalked. Like, they're barring injury, they should be the heavy favorite. But
I'm with you though. I think a double digit or a 2-score game for the Bills.
Yeah. Yep. Bengals, Jets.
Bengals. I think Bengals are due. The Bungles, I think Joey B, he's due. They're due. Like, I think it's kind of, to me, similar to the Panthers. I think a team that I thought was going to be decent this year. Obviously, I thought Bengals were going to be better than the Panthers, but I think it's just a team that's due to show what they can kind of do on offense, even with, obviously, like we talked about earlier in this video, that O-line, it's very different looking, and it hasn't really proven that they can hold up. But I think a Jets team that their clearly roster is better than, which you could argue maybe even is the first time, like with like whatever the Pittsburgh defense is clear, like, could be better than Cincy. Same thing with Dallas. So yeah, I think Bengals are due for that comeback, bounce back game, and I think they're going to get it here against the Jets.
Yeah, I agree. You're not going to see no Jets heroics in this one. They had their week last week. I mean, Joe Flacco keeps slinging it. I hope he does. Garrett Wilson, I hope he keeps balling. But if you're the Bengals, it's the same thing that I said when you were going to play the Cowboys. You got to be pissed off, and now you got to be even more pissed off.
Yeah.
And this Jets defense is not the Steelers defense. No. It's not the Cowboys defense.
No.
This is the Jets defense, and it's still got question marks. I know they got Stingley or Sauce Gardner. they drafted Sauce Gardner, and he's looked pretty good so far. But yeah, it's gonna be too much. So yeah, I'm sticking with you there. The Raiders and Titans. Who do you got in this one? This one's a little bit more of a toss-up.
I'll go kind of like similar again. I think kind of a Raiders bounce back game. I think you could make an argument kind of similar Titans would do for a bounce back game and to show what they can do. But I think Raiders really the team they're capable of being. And I think last week Cards could be a decent team as well. Like I think Raiders just overall better roster, better offense, better defense, better quarterback. I would take the Raiders in this one.
I am taking the Raiders, but I want to ask you a question. Can I have an asterisk pick? And what I mean by this is if we find out that Malik Willis is starting, am I allowed to flip it?
Yeah.
Okay. If Malik Willis is starting, then I am riding with a Malik Willis just out of nowhere. This Titan offense looks like miles worse than it was last year. Out of nowhere, Malik Willis will clutch out a dub in his first game, and he might not look as good for the rest of the season, but he will have that one oh wow, social media just going crazy moment over Malik Willis. He's the next guy, you know what I mean? I believe in that. I believe in that happening. And yeah, but other than that, I'm going with the Raiders if he's not playing because Tannehill's a joke. I mean, I feel like I've kind of stomped on Indy and the Titans in particular throughout the first 2 weeks, and I personally just think it's the most deserved. So if you got a problem with it, play better. Sorry. Moving on here. Chargers, Jacksonville. I'll just say if Herbert plays, it's a slam dunk. I know Jacksonville just won, but I said, shambolic Indy.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert, dog. Mike Williams, dog. We don't even need Keenan Allen, dog. No. Khalil Mack, dog. Joey Bosa, dog. I'm sorry. I know the Jaguars. Dog. I said this last week too. The Jaguars, I know you got better. Christian Kirk, you added guys. Good draft. I can't see it. The Chargers looked so good against KC. How could I fail this pick against the Jaguars 2 weeks in a row? I don't think it's possible. I'm taking the Chargers.
I'm with you. Chargers all the way. I mean, I feel like you touched on pretty much all the points. I think it's really just relying on Herbert. If Herbert's not there, then I'd take the Jags. But if Herbert's playing, I'm Chargers all the way.
Seahawks, Falcons at Seattle.
I got Falcons personally. I think Atlanta has had kind of two big kind of comebacks late in games, and I think they're kind of ready to win a game. I think they've looked decent and good enough to potentially have a win on the board, especially through their third week. I think starting off 0-3 wouldn't really prove kind of some of the things that their roster's been capable of fighting in games. So yeah, I think Falcons have a good chance of coming in and beating a Seahawks team who's looked pretty shit through 2 weeks. I mean, obviously they won the first game, but when you really look at the stats, you look at the actual game itself, they got all played throughout the entire game. So yeah, I don't really have much to say about that one, but yeah.
Broncos seemed to play down to the Seahawks in that game. Yeah. They got destroyed by the Niners. I feel like the Falcons have played two very good losses.
Yeah, exactly.
And they deserve a win. And not only do they deserve it, I just think their roster is a little bit better. They have playmakers, and I know that so does Seattle. They have Lockett, they have DK, but they have playmakers that it seems like Mariota's getting that ball at least to Drake London. Maybe not so much Pitts. Sorry, Pitts fantasy owners, but yeah, I think that the Falcons are going to clutch this one out.
I'm with you.
All right, so we got our last couple games here. So if you want to give me your divisional matchup here between LA and Arizona.
I'm gonna go. Damn, this one's tough. This one's really tough for me actually, because Cardinals played a good game.
Cardinals had a big comeback. So are they riding that momentum, and the Rams have kind of been up and down?
Give me yours. Give me a second. Give me yours.
I'm going with Arizona, man. I'm riding the momentum that this team is just holy shit, we played so bad for one game and a half of a game against the Raiders. Like Kyler Murray said, okay, I'm going to wake up now. I don't know. The Rams looked good in that Falcons game, but then like you said, they also kind of slipped up and almost gave it away late. So I don't know.
All right. I was gonna take the Cards, but since you took the Cards, I'm gonna be fun and I'm gonna take the Rams.
All right. I like it. I love it.
Yeah, it's just that makes it more interesting. Gut feeling, I really could flip a coin on this one and decide from that. I think it's going to be a really good game. I think Cards could ride in the momentum, or I think Rams could kind of turn around their season and prove why they're here to stay. So,
and don't get me wrong, I feel the exact same way. Like it's flipping a coin. That's why I'm just like saying that I'm riding the Cardinals momentum, is just because I don't have a definitive like, oh, I can break this down, I can break that down. Like they're both good teams and they're both playing like in kind of different trajectories and different ways going into this one. But I'm just going, and I like that you're going the Rams to be different.
Yeah, I'll take the Rams just to switch it up.
All right. Bucks Packers. Give it to me straight.
I'm gonna take the Packers. I think it's tough to be, obviously I'm going to be biased anyways, but I think it's tough to look at this game without the perspective too of the Bucks really are down, especially offensively in that wide receiver group. Like no Godwin, no Mike Evans. I know he appealed. I don't know if anything happened with that. He's a multi-time offender, especially just with that team and player. So I assume nothing will come of it and he won't play. But Cole Beasley, whatever, maybe he'll play this week. It's a decent pickup long term. I don't think he'll be that effective first week on the team. Just it'll be tough to be ready to scheme with that team. I mean, Brady and a Julian Edelman lookalike in the slot is always a good combo, but even with that,
we'll see how quickly he can get integrated. But
exactly,
I'm just gonna say I'm taking Tampa, and that's all I'm gonna say. This is a teaser. You're gonna have to listen to the next episode because we're gonna break down the Packers more in depth. So Sam will get more into all these matchups, and I'll tell you why I think the Buccaneers are gonna sneak out with a win here. But yeah, so I'm going Bucks. You're going Packers. Sounds good.
I'll go Packers.
All right. And Niners Broncos is the Sunday night football game. Man, imagine waiting all night for this Sunday night game.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm going to go 49ers.
Carrie Underwood, did you schedule this one? Because I have some complaints to raise.
I'm going to go 49ers. In Denver, I haven't seen enough from that Denver team, and honestly, funny enough, if Trey Lance was playing, I would probably take Denver. But with Jimmy G and a quarterback, I think I like San Fran here coming in hot, riding that Jimmy G revenge tour. So yeah, I'm gonna take the 49ers coming into Mile High and beating the down bad Denver Broncos. Just haven't looked good yet.
Despite me saying the down bad Denver Broncos, I'm taking the down bad Denver Broncos because, like I said, man, the pressure cooker, it's all the way up. Like, hack it, dude. I thought you were QB whisperer. Aaron Rodgers was your guy. He loved you, man. Yeah. So what, Russell hates your offense, or he doesn't understand it, or what's going on? Why'd you trade for this guy?
Yeah.
Like, that's like, obviously that's a huge over exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying is like, of course,
at some point,
at some point this offense has to start to click, and you wouldn't think it would take this long. Like 2 weeks into the season now, we're still like, is this offense going to hit click? But I'm just banking on that it will. And that defense is always, it feels like it's been a good defense, even despite trading away Von Miller last year, it was still good. But I feel like they're going to play well against Jimmy G, who's a less mobile, agile quarterback. And despite Jimmy G, I feel like making that offense better, I think it's going to be a tough loss in Mile High for the 49ers.
Yeah, well, I disagree with you. So cue one of us getting a clown emoji over us and get ready to clue the cow music and the score. Here we go.
Hey, I'm just going to quickly say before we get into this one that I just want you to give me one word when I ask you this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
One single word, okay? Cowboys, Giants.
Cowboys.
That's right. We're taking the Cowboys. The fucking Cowboys are going to win Monday night. We got a divisional opponent, the New York Giants. We're going to MetLife. We ain't taking no shit. 1-1 Micah Parsons. He's up in this bitch. We're going to take out Danny Dimes. We're going to shut down Saquon. We're going to score 100 points with Cooper Rush because we're the fucking Cowboys and we're all the way back. The season isn't dead. Let's go, boys. And if you like this video, like and subscribe, share it with a friend. Let's go. Let's get hyped. This has been the Cheeseboys NFL, and we're out. Peace.
See you guys next time.